Well, welcome to Scripture Reading 22, and today we'll be continuing on with Genesis chapter 21. And I've been enjoying these short. They're about 10 minutes, 15 minutes long, and that includes the reading and a little, walk back through the chapter to pick up any golden nuggets of information. So we've been following a lot of what's been happening to Abraham and Sarah, his wife. So we're going to pick up from that last situation in chapter 20 where Sarah had been taken again and then brought back. So we're in 21. So let's go to the website. Okie dokie, so we're at kingsjamesbibleonline.org, chapter 21 of Genesis. Verse 1, And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which the Lord had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as the Lord had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, The Lord hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the children grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And the Lord said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. And in all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it in her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. She departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under the shrubs. And she went and sat her down under against him a good way off, as it was bowshot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. And the Lord heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of the Lord called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, what ails thee, Hagar? Fear not, for the Lord has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thy hand, and I will make him a great nation. And the Lord opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And the Lord was with the lad, and he grew, and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pishol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, the Lord is with thee in all thy doest. Now, therefore swear unto me here by the Lord that thou wilt not deal harshly with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but accordingly to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. Abimelech said, I wot not who has done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet hear I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen, and gave them to Abimelech, and took them, made a covenant, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they shared both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up and Pishol, the chief captain of his hosts, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting Lord. And Abraham sojourned in the Philippines lands for many days. Okay, that little bit of a perplexing chapter here. I'm not sure what was going on here. So it starts talking about Sarah and Sarah having the son. Well, let's go back to the actual verses here. Yeah, so in verse 1, it says that the Lord visited Sarah and she conceived and had a son. And in chapter 6, 5 and 6, it again refers to Abraham's age and of 100 years old. And 6 and 7, it goes on talking more about the age and how they can't believe that she would actually breastfeed the child. The child grew, and Sarah saw her son Hagar, who was the Egyptian, mocking her, either mocking her or mocking Isaac, not sure which. And so she got Isaac to get Hagar and his mother, who they're referring to in verse 10, a bondwoman, and cast them out. So it's pretty serious that in verse 12, says here, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall be the seed. So basically listen to Sarah. And so, verse 13, it says here that the bondwoman will make a nation too, which is kind of interesting. And he is thy seed. Okay, so then in 14, Abraham gives her some water, gives her the kid, and they basically have to go out into the wilderness. So I guess it was pretty bad there. She was near death, and she hides the child. This is in 16, hides the child under a bush, and she goes a little distance away and lays down because she doesn't want to watch him die. And she prays, and so in 19, the Lord opened her eyes, woke her up, and all of a sudden there was water, there was a well. And she went and filled the water, and she filled her bottle with water and gave water. Now I notice here the reference using the word lad. That caught me by surprise. The first time I saw it, a young child called a lad. And it's used several times in this chapter, which is interesting. So, I guess this lad's going to grow up in the wilderness, verse 20, and becomes an archer. So let's see if this comes in later. So this goes on, and now it's kind of switches gears. In 22, it says, it came to pass at that time, and we now bring back up Abimelech and Phaishu. And they meet with Abraham. And then there's this discussion happens in 23 where the Lord, that thou hast not dealt falsely with me, nor with my son. So there's a little bit of a discussion going on here about whether or not Abraham has treated people fairly. So anyway, in 25, Abraham reproves Abimelech, and they sort of make up a patch, and Abraham gets some sheep and oxen, and they basically form a covenant with each other. Goes down, and this is an interesting section in verse 30 where Abraham gets 7 baby lambs, and uses them as a reference. And in the 32 it says the covenant at Beersheba, and references to the well. So I guess the final thing here that might come in later, Abraham plants a grove, and I'm assuming it's an olive grove, in Beersheba. And that's where it ends. Oh yeah, well in 34 it talks about Abraham wandering in the Philistines. Okay, it's kind of a chapter that kind of wanders around a bit, but the basic thing is that it's identifying that area of the world and where there's some nations going to be formed. Okay, so we'll go on to chapter 22 tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow.